Where am I? What is this place?
Meng Zuan's heart was racing, each beat feeling like it might explode. He glanced around, the air growing heavier with pressure, as if something terrible could descend from the void at any moment. Everything around him seemed to twist oddly, like ripples spreading across water.
It's coming.
The voice of the golden entity was calm and powerful, but there was an underlying anxiety. Meng Zhuan felt an overwhelming fear creep into his chest. He took a deep breath, forcing himself to stay calm, staring at the golden star that was about to fade into darkness.
What is that?
A vague shadow seemed to appear before him, slowly approaching. Meng Zuan's voice trembled as he spoke, though he knew his safety was the most important thing at the moment.
That is the strange god, a challenge you must face. They are not ordinary beings, but rather.
The golden entity's gaze darkened, the previously gentle expression now replaced with an air of authority.
Are they the destroyers of our world?
Meng Zhuan interrupted the golden entity, his voice tinged with urgency. He had already sensed that the approaching force was far beyond any ordinary enemy.
Their existence is to destroy the Order of Blue Star. What you are about to face is not just an enemy, but a trial, a test of whether you can truly control your power.
The golden entity paused for a moment, seemingly reflecting on how best to explain the gravity of the situation.
So, all of this was meant to be a trial.
A chill ran through Meng Zuan's heart as he realized the true danger of what he was facing. He had thought that forming a contract with the strange god was simply about gaining power, but now it seemed like he had just stepped onto a new and far more perilous path.
Why now? Has it always known I would awaken?
He turned to the golden entity, his doubts and nervousness growing stronger.
It has always been lurking, waiting for the right moment, and that moment is your awakening.
The golden entity's eyes flickered with a complicated light, as if it was holding back something important.
So it was destined before my awakening.
Meng Zuan's heart skipped a beat. He realized that his fate had already been intertwined with these strange forces long before he had awakened. Just then, the golden star in the distance exploded violently. The void seemed to tear apart into countless fragments of light, followed by a high-pitched screech. A massive figure emerged from the explosion, its shape indistinct, like twisted black smoke. Its eyes glinted coldly as it lunged directly at Meng Zhuan.
What is that?
Meng Zuan's mind was almost crushed by the pressure of the oncoming force. It felt as though an entire mountain was pressing down on him, and every nerve in his body was being torn apart by pain.
Are you ready?
The golden entity suddenly appeared in front of Meng Zhuan, its voice gentle but carrying a touch of reassurance.
There's no turning back now.
Meng Zhuan took a deep breath, knowing that he had no way out. His soul felt torn between two emotions: intense fear and an uncontrollable desire to fight. He wanted to prove that he was not just an ordinary high school student, but a summoner with the power to change his fate.
Come at me.
He gritted his teeth and his eyes burned with determination. As soon as the words left his mouth, the massive black shadow lunged at him with terrifying speed, almost too fast for him to react. Meng Zhuan instinctively took a step back, but his body didn't obey. At that moment, he suddenly felt a warm force emanating from the golden entity. The warmth quickly spread through his body, like a torrent breaking through all his constraints.
The power of the contract, the door to awakening.
The golden entity's voice rang in his ear, carrying a sense of empowerment. It is time for you to control your power.
This is my power.
Meng Zuan's eyes flew open, and he felt as though his soul was ignited. His hands began to glow with golden light, hot energy pouring from his fingertips and quickly gathering into a fiery blaze that burned the air around him. The power surged within him, nearly overwhelming him, but he no longer felt fear. Instead, he felt a rush of excitement like never before.
This is it, my power.
He whispered to himself with a faint smile, ready to strike back. Just then, the shadow opened its mouth and let out a deafening roar, shaking the very fabric of the void. Meng Zhuan nearly lost his balance from the shockwave, but he fought to keep steady. With a determined motion, he thrust his hands forward and released all the energy in a concentrated blast. A burst of fiery light shot toward the black shadow, engulfing it completely. Meng Zhuan held his breath, waiting for the result.
How is that possible?
To his shock, the burst of light was swallowed by the black shadow like water, vanishing without a trace.